So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Mars in the fifth house in Aries for Sagittarius ascendant people. Okay, because for Sagittarius, Mars is ruling the fifth house and the 12th house. And right now it's in its own sign of Aries. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular Mars, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here, astrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Kapiel Raaj Academy, where currently I just uploaded a new video on my Nandinadi course of activation of planets, making like prediction from age activation of planets, from like literally from the early age all the way to like 80s. Very simple technique. And of course, there's that wristwatch course that will literally bring the right time in your wrist. Doesn't matter you have a Raj Yoga, you don't have a Raj Yoga, you're going through any kind of period, the right watch can bring in. There's a whole science behind it. It's a science based on the video I made 8 years ago. Okay? So, Mars in the fifth house in Aries. So, you got to understand, Mars represents energy. That's the main thing. Everything is energy. This is why Mars is energy, because Mars is that lord of that first signs of the zodiac, Aries. And it's in the sign of Aries. So Mars represents our physical self. Mars represents the spark of the entire energy of humanity and anything which is living. Fifth house, okay. One of the most important significance of the fifth house is progression of lineage. Right? Pushing forward your DNA so this earth can feed off of us. Who knows? But mainly, it's also the house of intelligence. How your intelligence operates doesn't have nothing to do with education. When you think of the fifth house, forget looking at, education. Like a formal education with this useless certificate nowadays. Right? A bachelor's degree and master's degree. But it's the intelligence that actually brings that real degree. Because that real degree is supposed to give you something. Right? It's supposed to give you a great job. So many people just go to school, copy each other's paper. Okay, great, I have a bachelor's and I have a master's, now give me a job. No, you got to have intelligence towards what you have learned. That's what that degree is supposed to be. You're skilled in that particular thing. So when Mars is in the fifth house, you know how your intelligence operates. Your intelligence, first of all, obviously naturally activates on technical. Your intelligence is very technical in nature. Even if it's, let's say it's a housewife, she'll be able to figure out how to do things technically without even asking the husband. Mars is that full energy that shows that like even you will see this in, forget even Mars Mahadasha, Antradasha, Pratyantardasha, sub period of Mars. When Mars becomes activated, you will try to project yourself on children. Meaning you'll see yourself in children. You in that particular 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, you'll be completely devoted to that progression of children because you see yourself in them. You'll even use this mindset and even conversations that, I couldn't be a great cricketer or a great basketball player, but my son's doing really well. And my daughter's an excellent tennis player. Because in that particular time, that focus is now on the fifth house. That energy is active. So those parents who really kind of like take their children and make them competitive, that do this is how you need to be doing this in your studies and your sports, that's Mars, because the complete focus is on there. Such people also get strongly influenced about their body, because remember, it's the sign of Aries. Mars is the body. Mars is the Dhyakarka, significator of the bodily function. Your intelligence about your body gets influenced by your best friend, your brother, and your husband. You will see this. Like even let's say you don't have a brother, you're single, you don't have a husband, you don't have a best friend. A male colleague in your workspace says, I started taking this particular water with the celery and carrots and mint in it, and I leave it for 12 hours and it just does really well for me. Now you're suddenly influenced by it. Your mother was telling you this for the past 20 years. You just heard it from one ear, took it out from the other. But when this particular male individual sells it, now it struck your consciousness, struck your intelligence. Like, yeah, this is smart. I'm going to start doing this. So one's influence of intelligence comes through Mars. Your motivation, like such people get motivated actually when they watch the underdog in sports and they're winning that championship, the title, that match. It's so all of us need motivation, right? Like, even if, let's say, your intelligence is dull for a while, you can think of anything. You're like, God, I need a push. And then suddenly you watch some motivational video on YouTube, on TikTok or something. And you suddenly feel like, yes, this is what I need to do. You suddenly start doing it. And this particular activation will happen. Like, it's an actual prediction that only in this period you will do this. When either Mars is active, or especially when Jupiter or Saturn are influencing Mars in transit. Unless you have a progressed Jupiter over Mars in the 5th house, naturally you don't need transit, you don't need anybody, you're motivated. You're like, I'm going to achieve everything that I want. And 5th house, because Mars is an energy, Aries is a sign of your body. 5th house is mantras. You will see these people wanting to do mantras to improve their bodily functions. They will most of the time, they'll get mantras that are somehow even connected with, what's his name? Oh my God. Dhanvantari, yes. They might get mantras connected with Dhanvantari, especially if you're in an Indian culture. You might, even in Western society, you may receive some kind of a phrase to say to improve your body. They're really focused on improving their intelligence with body. So you'll see many people who work out because they feel that I am active, my brain is active. So those people who push this philosophy that when you play sports, when you work out, especially in your middle age, you become intelligent. The person who experienced this is the person with the Mars in the 5th house. While fine, your intelligence might be there automatically. It doesn't need to be working out. It doesn't need to be doing anything. But the thing is, all these philosophical quotes that gets pushed about something, like, for example, just in today's reading, I was mentioning about a quote related to Falguni placement of Saturn, that, like, unless you sacrifice something, you cannot achieve success. Because with Falguni Nakshatra, Purva Falguni, you have to sacrifice one thing in order to gain something. Because of the story of Falguni, right? So somebody had that Falguni, and this out like, wow, I sacrificed this entire personal family life to achieve this $1 million or to achieve this $1 billion. Oh yeah, this is the philosophy that everybody should know. And this is why we get bombarded with all these philosophical quotes that may or may not match our chart, because we may not need that type of a boost. We may not need to sacrifice our family and our work, or work for our family, because it's happening. This is why astrology is that guiding map more than any other philosophical code out there. The other thing we also see, because the 12th Lord, 12th house is what? 12th house is your bedroom. 12th house is your, sleeping mind, your relaxation. The pleasure that you get when you're not doing anything. That's the 12th house. This is why 12th house is the house of moksha. But then it's in the house of children. It's Mars. Such people you will see can't escape children even in the bedroom. They can't escape thinking about children's issues even in the bedroom. Like such people will have, especially if you have boys, they'll sleep in your bed till they're 10, 11. Because and then after that, you still will have some form of energy to bring about more energy in your relaxation, meaning you get a pet. Now the pet is in your bed and you're happy with it, and they're sleeping and they're waking you up at 4 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. And especially you will feel this effect during the operation of Mars, especially either when Jupiter is progressed over Mars Dasha is running, sub period of Mars is running. Those things does happen. Even if you're in old age, what happens? You might have a grandchild. Parents are gone for 3 days, and in your Pratyantar Dasha, this karma plays out where the grandchild is now sleeping with grandmother and grandfather in the bed. So, and then they're up all night and they're keeping you up all night. But again, Mars in the 5th house does not denote like, okay, well, you're going to have a technical education. No, intelligence is that technical. That's why it'll automatically push you towards a technical career, but you may not. You may do a sub-technical career like accounting, actuary. Law is also a technical career. You may even go towards that depending upon how Venus and Mercury are. Because Venus is higher education, Mercury is basic education. Why Venus is higher education? Because you have to spend money for higher education. It's a luxury to get a higher education. That's why it becomes Venus. And especially you will see Mars will give you excellent results in the 5th house. And this is especially part of the lesson that I just uploaded on Nandi Nadi course. At the age of 22, 34, you will have excellent results in the 5th house of Mars. You will also have excellent results in the 5th house at the age of 25. And a major transformation happens at the age of 32. Your life changes with the 5th house, which means most likely at 32 with Mars in the 5th house, you will have children. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Mars in the 5th house of your birth chart. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. And we want to know everything about your Mars, all my courses and consultations. Check out the links here. Otherwise, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.